Did you, the students, one of the other issues is not just communication between the faculty member and the students, but among the students themselves. Did you initiate that in any way when the icebreakers or getting to know you sessions?
I do always, as an entry discussion board item, I always have students explain, you know, who they are, where they're from, what their background is, why they're in the program, why they're in the course. And I also have in the new developments of HR administration class, I have an initial writing assignment where students do a reflective activity because it's an advanced course within the program. So I ask them what coursework they've taken so far, and give me kind of a reflective piece on what their learning has been in the program so far. And that actually helps me gauge what level they're at. So if I need to make any adjustments to the class, that provides that opportunity to do so.
And do their peers see that document?
Every written assignment I have that's submitted to me via Blackboard, for example, in the Grading Center, which is one of my favorite tools I would recommend for any instructor, face-to-face otherwise, to use. It's just a wonderful course management tool. But any assignment that's submitted online, from my view as the instructor, the students ultimately do kind of a 2-paragraph summary of that they do as a discussion board post. So I find that in a sense, I don't want students to do an assignment where I'm giving feedback, but there's not class interaction as a result. And so this provides the opportunity that every week I would have anywhere from, say, 2 to 4 discussion board items. And so if an assignment is due, maybe a 3 to 4 page paper on something that might be research-based, what I ask them to do is actually take, it might be even a 100-word or 300-word summary of that. And I like the activity too because it gives students a chance, especially in the business world, students need to know how to communicate information in a succinct manner and communicate it quickly. And that's a way to me that, again, in the face-to-face class, I may get an assignment from them, but I don't really see the written work, and other students don't see the written work to get a sense of how other classmates do their own writing. And this presents, to me, great opportunities for students to see other people's writing styles, how they craft an idea and explain something, how they make transitions among ideas, how they, in a sense, create bullet points to accentuate something they want to share. And so that's a way, again, for students, I think, to be engaged with each other more.
Okay. What do you think the primary differences are between the face-to-face and the online? If you're sort of give maybe 2 or 3 things that a faculty member needs to focus on.
Well, it all goes back, I think, to physically seeing the student, I think, is the difference. And I think it's a matter of how you define the word seeing someone. In the face-to-face, you are visually seeing someone. In the online class, I know I'll print up a photo roster of the class, so I think that helps me have a visualization of who the student is. So that difference is something I think you have to kind of get over that hurdle first, to know that you're not going to physically see the students.
Do the other students get to see that photo roster?
No, I don't think they do. But it is interesting because in terms of the profiles they do share, I think a lot of students provide enough information about their backgrounds, and you'd be very surprised at how much people share some of their very personal parts of their lives. Because it's so interesting that by the end of the course, the connection they feel, even not being in a, I've seen students in the online class be a tighter knit group than in the face-to-face class because of the nature that they're really thoughtfully engaged. And I think because it's a 9-week session, it's more intense. So students really are putting their best foot forward and want to get to know each other.
And they're not intimidated by the group. The internet provides a buffer between them and the rest of the audience, and they can be more open.
And the experience too, one thing I wanted to add that as a difference, and I think it provides for me as the instructor a little bit more flexibility. When I've taught a 15-week term, I have to be on and in class and ready to go every, whatever, it might be a Monday evening class. But if I need to travel for work or for other purposes, the online class provides the opportunity just to be anywhere in the world and hook up to the internet. And so that provides the luxury for the students. But I've also had assignments where, and this fits well in the human resources world, because we always do a week on global issues and internationalization in the HR community. And one of the assignments I've done, I've been in Costa Rica, in Italy, and other places myself, and I've set up the week, that would be the Global Issues Week, and I've had students even write in questions, and I've said, give me a question you want me to ask a tourist, a shop owner, someone there, and I'm on the ground, actually asking people and then writing that back. So to me, that is a luxury that you'd never see in a face-to-face environment. So
you're sort of their ambassador.
Right, in a sense, and it's a lot of fun. So my only stipulation is that I either need to know the language those people are speaking, or that they speak English, so that I can communicate the information.
And that you won't get slapped for asking the question.
Correct, right. So I always say it was my student that asked the question.
Okay.
I'm just the messenger.
So that face-to-face connection is one key difference. Anything else?
I think on the student end, maybe, that they feel that, again, doing group work is a bit of a challenge because, again, I think when you can physically be together as a group, that helps students sometimes just engage and get the work done, whereas if you don't physically see the person, I've had issues where students question the accountability of others in the class.
Okay. What's next? What would you like to do differently in the future?
Well, it's interesting. Now that I've gone through probably about 4 or 5 different iterations of the course, I've always changed something every semester. And it's really been informed by the feedback I've received from students. So I always do a thorough evaluation of the class, and I really take to heart what the students say, particularly in terms of the assignments. Are they relevant? Did they feel that, did they learn what I was hoping that they would learn? It's interesting, this past summer, one of the survey of HR class I taught, the student participants really, it was so fascinating. They rose beyond the level of expectation. I think it was so interesting to see as a group, once 1 or 2 students set the bar, everyone wanted to reach that bar, which again, I've not seen that in a face-to-face class in quite the same intensity. This semester, it's interesting, the students in the class are not as strong in terms of they didn't come out of the gates ready to go with everything. But as students have gotten out, we're now in about week 4 of the class, as students have been engaged in that, I've seen them rise to the level of what the summer was as well. So I think my challenge, and one is I keep trying to do it to enhance the class, is every question I pose, I want to ensure that it's a learning experience, that again, it's not just, here's what's in the text, and I'm just going to write that, and then everyone has the same post, because there's no learning there. It's just memorization, and that's not what I would want on a graduate level at all. So that, to me, is a way, how do I change it? And also to be more relevant and timely. The second class I said I teach is new developments in human resource administration. So I always am changing the class to be very relevant to what's in the news here and now, particularly with issues of in government related to healthcare, health insurance, how that affects the employer and employee, and so I include a lot of timely information that also provides opportunities in the class to provide great multimedia, whether it's videos or reference to other blogs or other pieces of information that are very timely that don't need to be archived somewhere, that I can actually go to in some other capacity.
So how has teaching online affected your face-to-face teaching? Has it changed what you do in the classroom?
That's a really interesting question. I don't know if it's changed it dramatically, but I have, in the face-to-face classes, I have incorporated more of Blackboard in the classes because
When you say Blackboard, you mean the discussion groups?
Meaning the discussion groups, because I think it provides more opportunity for actual exchange of ideas. And as I said before, it incorporates everyone's ideas in the conversation. That again, a typical face-to-face, if you just have someone who is very outspoken in a class, there might be someone who's more introverted, who's very thoughtful in their thinking process, but they don't readily raise their hand to give information.
Or they like to spend some time thinking and formulating their answer before having to present.
Right. Well, that's why I think with the online class as well, the answers students give are often much more in-depth and thoughtful because they've had time to. It's a reflective activity, actually, whereas in an in-person class, you're in the moment. You're doing it in the moment.
It's a challenge response.
Correct. But even too, with a couple things I've done a little bit differently, I think are related to using case studies in both versions. They've both kind of informed each other a little bit of how I might need to tweak a case study to make sure the questions I ask are bringing forth the information that I really am hoping students get it, so that they get at the heart of the issue and not just do things on a surface level. I want them to look at something in depth beyond what they had ever thought before. So when they finish the class, I want them to be able to, and I've used this example with the training team presentation students do in the online class. I say, I hope you put it on your resume and it becomes part of your professional portfolio, so that when you're on the job market, you can show this PowerPoint and this incredible presentation that you came up with. To me, is an excellent example showing the work that you do.
Okay. All right. Well, Rick, thank you very much for joining me on the show today.
Thank you for the opportunity. It was wonderful.
So if you have any additional questions for Rick, please feel free to post them on the blog on the TLT website at tlt.stonybrook.edu, where you'll also find the direct contact information for Dr. Gatteau. I'm Graham Glynn, and I look forward to seeing you on the next exciting episode of Innovations in Education.